Hey, fun theorists. Ready for some monster madness?
Sounds fun.
I've been seriously deep in Guillermo del Toro and H.P. Lovecraft lately.
Oh,
And
wow.
my head is spinning. They're both masters of monsters.
Dear.
But they do it so differently.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's wild. Like Del Toro, he makes these creatures that are beautiful, but also kind of freaky.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you could almost touch them.
They feel so real.
I was reading this Collider article, 10 greatest creatures in Guillermo del Toro movies.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It's amazing. The artistry, blew me away.
Del Toro, he's got this way of making you see the human, even in the monsters.
Totally. Think about the faun from Pan's Labyrinth. A centuries-old,
Mind-blowing.
mythical creature brought to life. And that costume,
So detailed.
incredible.
It's not just how it looks, though. Del Toro and Doug Jones, he's the actor.
Yeah.
They, really capture this feeling of, ancient wisdom,
Oh, totally.
but also, vulnerability.
Yeah.
Even though the faun looks so powerful, so imposing.
It's he's carrying, the weight of the world or something.
Yeah, the weight of ages.
And, okay, we can't forget about Hellboy.
Oh, such a classic.
Ron Perlman, he was, born to play that role.
Right. His performance is, just incredible, all that makeup, and yet you can still see his charisma just shining through.
It's he embodies that character from the comics,
Completely.
And then there's the amphibian man from The Shape of Water.
Oh, beautiful design.
I know, right? That blend of grace and ferocity, it's
Stunning.
And the film won Best Picture.
I know. That says a lot about the power of Del Toro's creatures.
It does. It really does.
People are really drawn to stories that explore, the monstrous,
Yeah.
but in a way that's, more nuanced and empathetic.
Right, right. Okay, so let's, switch gears for a second and go into H.P. Lovecraft territory.
Okay.
There's this blog post, Lovecraft's Monsters, that talks about how they look visually. I was, struck by the way they depicted Cthulhu.
Oh, interesting.
It's so vague, shadowy.
That's so Lovecraft, though.
I know, right?
That vagueness, it's key to his whole cosmic horror thing.
It is.
His creatures are supposed to be impossible to understand.
Right.
We can't even really picture them clearly. That's what makes them so scary.
Yeah, it's trying to imagine a color that doesn't exist or something.
Exactly. And it's so different from how, pop culture usually portrays Cthulhu.
Oh, I know. Some giant tentacle monster.
Right. But that misses the point.
It does.
Lovecraft's horror, it's not about something you can just, punch or shoot with lasers.
It's way deeper than that.
It's about the fear of the unknown, the, hugeness of the cosmos, and how small we are compared to it all.
So true. It's kind of freaky when you think about it.
It is.
So we have Del Toro finding the humanity in monsters.
Yeah.
And Lovecraft, throwing us into this cosmic dread. This next piece, Del Toro's monsters versus Lovecraft's horrors, puts them head to head.
Oh, that's an interesting comparison.
It really is. It shows how Del Toro uses monsters to, explore our own darkness.
Yeah, the darkness within us.
Exactly. But Lovecraft, he uses monsters to show how powerless we are against, the universe.
Against forces we can't even comprehend.
It's crazy. And they use these great examples.
Oh, yeah, like what?
The creatures in Pan's Labyrinth, they're metaphors for war and fascism.
Oh, I see.
Real human horrors.
Right.
And then you have the creatures from Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythos.
Yeah.
These things are beyond our understanding.
Totally.
It's amazing.
It is.
And it's not just what the monsters represent, but the feelings they make us feel.
Oh, yeah, that's important.
Del Toro, he's often going for empathy.
It makes you feel for the monster.
Yeah. But Lovecraft, he wants you to feel that existential dread.
He wants you to feel small.
It's so effective, both of them, but in such different ways.
Yeah, both powerful.
So what about you? What's jumping out at you from all this?
That's a good question.
What's your biggest takeaway so far?
It's they tell stories in such different ways because of how they see monsters.
Yeah.
Del Toro, he uses them, the monsters, I mean,
Yeah.
to show real world problems.
Oh, right. In Pan's Labyrinth,
Exactly.
the monsters, they're the bad stuff about war and fascism.
Yeah, he's saying, look, the real monsters, they're us sometimes.
Whoa, heavy stuff.
Right, and his monsters, they're connected to actual history.
Whoa, yeah, I see what you mean.
It makes the stories have more meaning.
That's so different from Lovecraft.
Oh, it's night and day.
Lovecraft, it's all about the mysteries that are too big for us to understand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
His monsters, they like make his characters question everything.
They have an existential crisis or something.
Yes. And like we do too when we read his stories.
That's true.
He makes us think about how fragile we are, how little we know.
He's like, hey, the universe is massive and doesn't care about you.
Right. And that's like scary to think about, you know?
It is, yeah.
But it's also what makes Lovecraft so interesting.
It is. He makes you think.
He makes you question your place in like the grand scheme of things.
We've been talking about like the big picture stuff.
Yeah.
But let's talk about specific monsters.
Okay.
Like the pale man from Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh yeah, he's creepy.
He is. But he's also kind of
sad.
Yes. Like there's something tragic about him. Like he's lonely.
It's like he's more than just a monster, you know.
I know. He's like a symbol of something.
Deeper.
Yes. Something human.
That's what Del Toro does. He takes these like monstrous things.
Yeah.
And he uses them to explore these like really complicated feelings and ideas.
Right. But Lovecraft.
His creatures are just like pure nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
They're meant to be like totally beyond us.
We can't even understand them.
Exactly. And that makes them even scarier, don't you think?
It does.
Because like you can't reason with them.
No.
You can't fight them.
You're
insignificant compared to their cosmic power.
Okay, so Del Toro, he gives us monsters we can feel for.
Yeah.
And Lovecraft gives us monsters that make us question if we're going crazy.
Right.
Both awesome, but in such different ways.
Totally different approaches.
What about you? What's sticking with you from all of this?
Good question.
Has any monster really stuck in your head? Or an idea from the sources?
What about you? Any favorites?
I want to hear your thoughts, fun theorists.
Yeah, tell us.
And remember, this is fun theory, so get creative.
Yes.
If you could design a monster that, like, represents a fear or something you're anxious about,
that's cool.
what would it look like? What would its powers be?
What kind of story would you tell with it?
Share your theories. We want to hear them.
It's crazy how just the idea of a monster can, like, make you feel so many different things.
I know. Del Toro and Lovecraft both, like, tap into something deep inside us.
Right.
Whether it's fear or, like, fascination or even, you know, some dark humor. Yeah, totally. And it's not just about being scared either.
No, they use monsters to talk about, like, big ideas.
Right, like the pale man representing greed and gluttony.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And Lovecraft, he makes us think about how much we don't know.
About, like, the universe and stuff?
Yeah, exactly. Like, his horror stories are almost philosophical, you know?
It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it.
I know. But in a good way, right?
Definitely a good way. It makes you think about stuff you wouldn't normally...
Like the big questions.
Yeah. Speaking of thinking outside the box, I can't wait to see what monsters our listeners come up with.
Me too. Everyone has their own fears, right? So many possibilities.
Endless possibilities.
Yeah.
Like, we've given them a toolbox of monster inspiration.
And now it's their turn to create.
Build something amazing.
Or terrifying. Or both, maybe.
Yes. So, as we wrap up our monster mash here on Fun Theory, let's take a second to, like, appreciate Del Toro and Lovecraft.
They've changed how we think about monsters.
For sure. They showed us that monsters are more than just, like, things that go bump in the night.
They can be like reflections of ourselves, you know? Our fears, hopes, everything.
They can make us think, they can scare us.
And laugh. Don't forget about the laugh.
True. So next time you see a monster in a book or a movie, even in your head, think about what it means. What does it say about you, about the world?
That's a good question.
And hey, maybe it'll inspire you to make your own monster masterpiece.
Ooh, I like that.
Keep those imaginations running wild, fun theorists.
Until next time, stay curious. Stay creative.
And maybe sleep with a nightlight on, just in case.
Yeah, just in case.
Yeah.